All right, 28 minutes before 12 o'clock. If you went in your mind to a place in history, let's say just a couple hundred years ago, right? And you tried to imagine the future, and you found out that one day we would have vehicles that ran without a horse pulling them. You'd say, oh, that's kind of cool. If you found out that you could put a pizza in a microwave oven and cook it in 10 seconds or whatever, you'd say, oh, that's pretty kind of cool. But if you found out we were going to be able to fly, you would say, holy mackerel, we're going to be able to fly? And it really hasn't been that long, right? When did the Wright brothers do that thing with the Kitty Hawk?
I can't remember.
It's a little over 100 years ago, I think. The whole idea of flying is being celebrated this weekend. Started yesterday, I think, right down in Lakeland at Sun and Fun. Dan Martone is down there. He has embraced the love of flying. Became a pilot since the time we first got to know Dan. Hey, Dan, you're in your world right now.
I am actually. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun down here. We are broadcasting live from Sun and Fun 2019, brought to you by American Adventures RV and Ocala Aviation. We're actually here with Liberty University at their booth, and we have brought our own simulator from Ocala Aviation on site so that new students or people that are just thinking about flying, anybody just interested and they're here at the air show, they can actually pop in and get the experience of being in a simulator. And we brought a live one with us in the trailer and a bunch of goodies to give away. And so we're just having fun, meeting people and greeting people and having a good time.
Is that similar to the simulator that somebody like studying to be like in the Air Force? Would they have a similar simulator?
They would actually exactly not exactly the same, but similar. Yes. So all the controls are functionable. So when you pull back, you actually lift the plane up. It has all the controls that a normal airplane would have from what we're doing here today. Now, different simulators obviously have different controls, but the planes that you're going to be flying when you come to Ocala Aviation to learn how to fly, that is the plane we have set up in the simulator, because you don't just jump right into a new Raptor for training purposes. You don't get to fly a Boeing 737 your first time out. Right. It all has to start somewhere. So you literally start out by flying the smaller airplanes, learning the fundamentals, getting to know the airplane, and then the simulator is an extension of that to where you can do things and get used to them and then go sit in the real airplane.
Would a pilot from the World War II era who hadn't flown since then but still remembered all the things he had to do, would he be able to fly a plane today?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. The fundamentals never go away. The buttons, the gadgets, the gizmos, all of those things are wonderful to have, but the fundamentals of flight, that never goes away. We've got many old pilots that just come in, they get a quick brush up, and they go flying. They have fun.
How old does a person have to be to start training to be a pilot?
That's a good question, Robin. So you can be as young as 12 and start training. Now, that's a little early, but you can start your training just that early, just a little more sporadically. You can actually get your solo endorsement when you're 16 years old. So before you drive a car, you can fly a plane.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Oh, my God.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and do you have any...
At 17...
And do you have young students? I think you, on your Facebook page, you showed one, right? One of the kids here in town?
We do. We absolutely do. We have several, actually. Several kids that their parents realize the value in it and the educational purpose of it. And it's also, just for the younger kids, it's a great way to give them something to do. Some are in soccer, football, and you also don't want to get them to, they're just sitting there playing video games and doing nothing all day. And your parents are spending money on something, so make it something that's going to be for their future. Go ahead and get them interested in the aviation. They come out, they fly a real plane, and how cool is that to go back to school and say, hey, what did you do last week?
Yeah, really. Dan, the guest just before you was a psychotherapist, and she was talking about facing your fears. So when you first started to learn how to fly, what was the scariest part about it?
Doing something wrong, the fear of messing up and not getting it correct. That's the fear that everyone has. The fears never, ever go completely away. You're always conscious of it. But if you're not afraid of it a little bit, then you're not really needing to be there. You always have to be a little fearful. These are machines. They're in the air. They're chunks of metal. You have to have respect for them, for sure.
And when a person wants to be a pilot, they just don't say, okay, here I am, I'm getting into the pilot's seat and take off. They have to learn all the particulars of the mechanics of the plane itself to do their checks.
They They do, absolutely. Our courses go from the very beginning of I don't know anything all the way through I know every nut and bolt. So, and there are different levels. Obviously, you don't have to literally know every nut and bolt. It's a little bit of an exaggeration. But you do have to be prepped on the main aspects of the airplane, how it functions, where things come from, how the oil gets here, how the gas gets here, how it works, so that if there is an issue, you have a good basic understanding of what might be wrong in an emergency procedure.
So as you look around at the airplanes at the Sun and Fun event right now, could you, with the understanding you have of flying, you're a pilot now, could you get into most of those planes and fly them?
With a little bit of training, sure. So planes that you're not used to, you get what's called a rating, and you go in with someone else that is used to that plane, and with your licenses, you say, well, I know the basics, I'm qualified, let's go fly this plane. You go with somebody that is qualified in that particular plane. He runs you through it, you do several hours in it, and then you are then qualified to fly that plane, depending on your ratings and your types. So you can't just, if you're in, say, a single-engine airplane, well, you can't just jump into a dual-engine airplane. You have to have that training for that type of airplane. And you can't jump in from a twin-engine piston all of a sudden going to fly a Boeing 737. You obviously are going to need some more training. But all of the airlines right now are giving you that training. There is such a need for pilots right now that the days of those long training exercises that cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands, those days are gone. Right now, all of the airlines are saying, listen, we need pilots, and we need them badly. So we're willing to give even more training once you're through this initial portion, and we won't charge you.
And your experience as a pilot and as a trainer for the students, a teacher, and the other people that you know who are teachers, you have to have a really good sense of camaraderie with the students so they don't get scared, and you really have to know that this is something serious that they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And believe it or not, your guests beforehand, there is a course that you have to take to become a flight instructor. That is a psychology course, just so you can recognize the signs of when a student is doing something that maybe they shouldn't be doing, or they're a little nervous about this, or they're showing signs of that, and what to do about it. So if a pilot is overconfident, well, you take them and you have a conversation about that. Or they're too nervous. Well, you show them that it's okay and that this is what will happen if this does happen. So there's a whole set of procedures for pretty much everything.
So let's say somebody is listening and he or she is a young person and they say, I'm going to go to Sun and Fun. I'm going to find Dan and Ocala Aviation, and I'm going to try that flight simulator. Let's say they get into the simulator and they crash when they land. Now, obviously, it's a simulated crash. But how do you tell them, look, that won't happen every time? You'll learn how to do that the right way, right?
Oh, well, we've got a great solution for that one. We just don't let you land.
Now, you have
No, not at all. It's a simulator, so there are nuances to it and everything. And, of course, you're going to crash a simulator the first time you're in one. It's not a big deal at all. But we walk you through it, and you have a little fun. And it's more of an adventure thing to see, did you like this? Did you get that bug? Do you have that feeling of, I'd like to really do this in real life?
Right. Do you have any veteran pilots who come in there to, they haven't done it in a while and they want to try it to see if they still have it, and they come into the simulator?
We did, actually. We had a few of those throughout the week. One of the wonderful couples that we had was John and Martha King. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but they are actually some of the pioneers of the flight school training. And they were the ones back from VHS. They had the video training out when nobody else had it, and they did a wonderful job. And they came by, and they're up there in age, and they sat down in the simulator and just had a blast with it.
You have a great tradition at Ocala Aviation, also. You cut the back of the shirts off.
Shirt, yeah.
What does that signify?
Oh, the solo. Yeah. So the solo is when a student comes in and they learn eventually, well, they have to go solo. But back in the day when flight training was without communication, you didn't have the nice headsets that we have today. You had a leather helmet with ear muffs just to block the sound of the loud engine.
Oh, my.
They weren't covered cockpits like they are today. It was open cockpit. So the only way for the instructor to get you to do something was to tug on the back of your shirt. You would pull back on the back of your shirt or tug it to the right, so go right, to the left, and tug it a little harder. You stop whatever you're doing. So
the
symbolism is that that we cut the back of your shirt out after your solo because there's nothing there for the instructor to tug on anymore. You are on your own.
And the first time you did solo, was that frightening?
Absolutely terrifying.
Oh my gosh! And was landing the scariest of all?
Of course. So the first time you land, that's the first time you've taken an airplane.
Oh my God.
And you're coming in, and you take all of your training up to that point, and you put it to use. And you are sweating, and you're scared, and you're excited, and all these wonderful emotions are coming all at once. You never forget your first solo. And you take all that training, and you put the plane down, and it's the most wonderful feeling in the world.
And are you going to be there through the end of the event?
We are. We're set up here with Liberty University. Liberty University is the college portion of it. So the students can come in, and any prospective person can get a little knowledge on the fastest way to get to the airlines. And one of the fastest ways is to get a college degree through us, through Liberty University. And it's a 4-year bachelor's degree that you can take online, which saves a ton of money. They have financing available. If you're in the military, they have even more options available to you. So a lot of different aspects to getting your pilot's license all the way through commercial and getting on track to the airlines.
So when we have the folks in here from the higher education show that we do, they always have, oh my gosh, like numerous ways to pay for the education. Does that apply for the flight education as well? Are there numerous ways you can pay for it?
Absolutely. So there are outside finance companies. Again, there's the college portion, the VA that works with certain aspects of it. The VA also works directly with the university, so there are funding options for that. It's a fully accredited college, so the financing that you would get, say, going to CF or going to Gainesville, it's the same thing. It's a fully accredited college, so you get all the benefits of that finance department, except you get to do flying with it.
We met the one of the pilots for the Marion County Sheriff's Office. He's the pilot of the helicopter. Do you guys also teach that? Do you teach helicopter flying?
No, we do not. And what we're in now is a phase where helicopter pilots are actually transitioning because there's such a need for fixed wing pilots, not rotor. Rotor's helicopter, so we have fixed wing, what we call for regular airplanes. And there's just such a need for so many pilots to fly the regular airplanes that they have special programs for guys like the guy that's flying the helicopter from the Sheriff's Department. So his knowledge and experience in avionics and aviation is built on a solid foundation. So he gets quite a bit of credits for what he's already done, and he can transition to an airplane much faster.
So if somebody wants to, a couple things we want to make sure people have the information for. They want to come to Sun and Fun. If you could tell us how to do that, where you are, etc., and how to sign up for flight lessons, and maybe what do you need to do to get a shot at the simulator?
Okay. All right, we'll take these one at a time. Okay, so Sun and Fun is located in Lakeland. So if you're in Ocala, you're on the south side, about an hour and a half drive. You're up on the north side, you back a half hour onto it. You drive down here, you come in through the main gates. The tickets are on sale right there at the front. They're $39 for adults. They are 7 and under is free, and between 7 and 17, I think, are $19, somewhere around there. So you come in, and there are hundreds of acres of airplanes and vendors and different things to see and do, and mechanical stuff from hangars for the engineer type guys. And so it's not just for the pilots, it's a real experience for just about everyone that likes anything about airplanes. The big guys are here from Boeing and American Airlines, and the little guys are here from things like our flight schools. So you have the whole gamut of people that can come in and enjoy the show here at Sun and Fun. And then they have the nighttime activities. So they have the air show itself, which includes this year the Blue Angels, and Dad talked to you about that a little yesterday, but fantastic show they put on. There's nighttime fireworks, there's different shows from aerobatic companies, there's DC-3s, old transport airplanes, so lots of stuff there. So how you get here, just come down 75 or I forget the other route. Anywho, there are a couple ways to get here. So.
All right.
I-4.
You get in your car and you come down.
Your dad said I-4.
And the website for Sun and Fun is flysnf.org.
Yep. flysnf.org. It has the maps. It has all of the details on the events and where you're going and what you're going to be doing.
What is your label? What does your sign say? Where are you? What is it, Ocala Aviation?
It's actually Liberty University.
Okay.
So we are with Liberty University right now. So if you're looking in the line and you see Liberty University, it'll show you on the map exactly where we are. We're right in the middle of the action. We have the field right next to us where you can come in and relax and sit down, talk about the future for your kids or yourself, and maybe get a ride in a simulator, maybe watch an air show. Just have a good time.
All right, you calling back later on, or is this it?
This will be it for now. I'll give you a call back if we have some time. We're actually pretty busy over here. It's a wonderful thing, so I'll give you guys a shout later, and we'll see if we can't reconnect.
All right, sounds exciting.
What is your website for Ocala Aviation up here in Ocala, so people can go to visit that also?
Very, very difficult. OcalaAviation.com.
There you go. I love that.
All right. Every time I see a plane go over, I think of you, Dan. I always think you're up there. Every plane. All right. Be careful. Thank you for doing this. It's fun. And so.
All right. Thank you, guys. And I'd like to thank our sponsors, American Adventures RV. Go American Adventures.
Yeah, I want to get one. She made me want to get one. Your dad thinks I'm bluffing.
Great.
Your dad thinks I'm bluffing. I really want to get one. All right. Thank you, Dan.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
All right, bye. On the first and third Wednesday mornings of each month at 9:05, Robert Colin will be with us from On Top of the World, Ocala's premier active adult community. Be sure to listen and be sure to call in. Speak with Robert to learn about all the exciting lifestyle and new home choices available at On Top of the World. From time to time, Robert will have guests, and we're sure you will enjoy our little chats. You deserve the world.